the message underlying all of that, he instilled in me a belief that I was already bigger than I thought I was. Are you willing to plant seeds without ever tasting the fruit? This is a question that I've asked myself over and over for a long time. And this whole topic is about resolving the egoic need we have, the desire, the attachment we have to seeing the results of our labor. So let's look at the metaphor of a farmer. So I wouldn't call myself a farmer, but I know some people who farm. And I know that part of guaranteeing that there is harvest in the fall means preparing your fields and planting many different seeds in many different beds, so that, because farmers know that some of those plants aren't going to come to crop. Some of them will fail, some of them will rot, some of them will have a fungus or a bug that doesn't allow them to grow. And so as a farmer whose job is to guarantee there's harvest for his people, he knows that he has to plant seeds in many different places and in many different ways. And in order to nurture those fields and make sure that there is harvest for the people, he's got to do whatever it takes, knowing that and planning in foresight that some of those crops aren't going to make it all the way through. And it all landed for me one day when I was talking about a lesson I got when I was in 6th grade. There was a teacher by the name of Ed Lockey. He was my 6th grade social studies teacher. And other than what I'm about to share with you, Mr. Lockey was a pretty unremarkable character in my life. When I think back to the lessons and the moments I had in his classroom, there's not many that I can actually recapture. But there was one thing that he told me, because at this point in my life, I was the shortest kid in my class. And he sat me down one day because I think he could sense that I was feeling a little bit small. He told me that, number one, your height and your physical stature doesn't really matter, doesn't make you who you are. He said this in a way that obviously a 6th grader could understand. And then after that, he said, by the way, I think you're going to be about 5'10". And I looked at him. This guy was also 6'5". And he's like, you're going to be about up to here. And I said, no way. No way I'll ever be up to there. He's like, I know things. You're going to be about this tall. And I'm not 5'10". But the message underlying all of that, he instilled in me a belief that I was already bigger than I thought I was, and that someday I'll be even bigger than I could ever imagine. And that seed that he planted in the soil of my body lasted and grew and it marinated for many, 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 many years. And I only recaptured that memory maybe 7 or 8 years ago when I was in my mid-20s. And at that point, I had no connection to this teacher. I had no relationship or way of contacting him. So that seed that he planted, which is probably unremarkable in his memory, I don't anticipate or believe that he remembers that encounter he had with me, but it planted a seed inside of my heart, inside of my body, that over time grew into something else. And here I am sharing it with all of you guys out there, perpetuating that message and that wisdom. So the underlying message here, the take-home wisdom, if you want to call it that, is you have no idea what the impact of your words or your actions are going to be. So we must be mindful of what we put out into the world and detached from how the outcome will play out. The way it's shown up in my life and in my work is in mentoring guys and facilitating groups and being a leader. Oftentimes, I want to see the man go from point A to point B. There's a part of my ego that gets attached to seeing tangible results in the work that I do with other guys. And I've had to let go of that because I know that sometimes I'm going to plant a seed that I don't ever get to see grow. We might plant seeds now that we don't ever get to see in our lifetime. They may not mature and blossom into fruits and flowers until long after we're gone. But if I'm attached to the outcome and then I start being picky with the seeds or the messages that I put out there because I want to see those seeds go to fruit, then I may not be giving each individual person what they need in that moment. I may be directing or manipulating my message so that I can get something out of it. So I can get that instant gratification or self-satisfaction that, I did that and this was the outcome. So a point of reflection. Where in your life are you doing things because you want to be able to take credit for the outcome? Where in your life are you making decisions, taking action because you're still looking for that underlying validation? Now, it can be sneaky. You can be doing great work in the world, but if that intention isn't pure, if that purpose isn't refined and clear to a point where it's really not about you, it's about what you're giving out this way, not necessarily what you're expecting in return, then there's work to be done there. There's something to be polished up. There's something to be refined so that that delivery of that gift is potent and pure. And it's an important checkpoint for me. It's something that I've had to work on myself. So are you ready to plant seeds from which you will never get to enjoy the fruit? Are you prepared to give freely of yourself without any expectation or attachment to what the outcome might be? In your relationship with your partner, are you able to give without any expectation of a return? In your relationship with your family, are you able to give and to shower them with love without needing something back? This is the way of the rising man. This is the way that we create a global community where everyone gets what they need and we don't have to make it all about ourselves. So you're all farmers out there. Go and plant those seeds. And don't worry about whether it's going to come to fruit or not. Just trust that what you're putting into the soil is rich. If you're digging this message and everything else that we're putting out there, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel here. Go down there, hit that little red button. And if you love what we're doing here, go check out all the other opportunities to be involved at risingman.org. Peace out, fam.